Hello, and thanks for joining us on the podcast that discusses all things gaming. Coming to you from the home of GenCon and the gaming capital of the world, this is The Established Facts. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 104. This is our post-GenCon episode, the post-GenCon experience 2015, if you will. So, we're going to go around the table, do introductions for everybody who's here. We kind of got a couple new faces, which is really exciting, and we're going to talk about what we, what we thought about GenCon 2015. So, starting to my right,
I'm Avital.
Judy.
This is Josh.
This is Kari.
Dr. Deb.
Today the role of Lance Heinzelman will be played by Major Payne.
Amen.
Hey guys, this is Derek.
And this is Dr. Deb's brother, the Wargamer Chris.
There you go. And this is, of course, your host, Big Don. As you can tell, we probably sound a little bit tired on the mics. We just spent, 4 days at the best 4 days of gaming, GenCon 2015. At the home of GenCon in the gaming capital of the world. Thank you.
Adam, nice to see you.
Keith Bird, we love you. I think for our first 2 years, we said, suck it, Chad. For our last 2 years, we've said, hey, Keith, best 4 days of gaming capital of the world, those kind of things.
We got one of them in.
That's
Adam
right.
was down.
That's right. Adam, yeah. Beth had a great time. Beth was having a good time last night, and Adam had a good time last night. And our buddy Zach Lorton came in and had a blasty blast. He had to leave at like
Dan
noon
was here
today.
for a day.
Dan was here for a day. John was here for most of the weekend.
Did he make it in?
Yeah, he rode with a buddy of his from college, I think, and Zach when they rode in, and then rode out with his buddy, and then Zach rode out with Beth.
Another Buddha Christian was here. So.
Oh, okay, very cool. So yeah, man, Booter community at GenCon. Of course, the Established Facts at GenCon as well.
Shout out to the folks from Shot Array in Philadelphia, because a big group of us met up
to
play games last night.
That's right.
We had Yossi out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania was here, and a lot of the other gamers, Nick Nathaniel, their families.
All of them awesome.
Yes,
that's right. That's right.
You put them all together and then you left them for 3 hours.
I know.
Yes.
Well, and of course, because we got a chance to hang out with Tracy Hickman last night. A little bit different feel than what we normally do on a Wednesday night, but
that's what we get for filling up day 3.
Yeah, it was awesome though. It was so much fun.
A couple of my coworkers came in for the first time.
Yeah?
I
met a lot of first timers this year.
Adam.
Met a lot of first timers.
Adam with him came
Yeah.
in. So, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so before we kind of get into our discussion, we're going to do our versus topic. So, our versus topic for episode 104, the Gen Con Experience 2015, is day 1 versus day 3. And what I mean by that, to define the parameters of day 1 versus day 3, we all know on day 1 we're super excited about the con. There's convention exclusives. We got the exhibit hall to see for the first time, and there's new people to meet, fresh faces, and costumes that we haven't gotten a chance to see. So there's a lot of buzz in the air. There's a lot of excitement. There's tons of people waiting to do things. Day 3, you've had a couple days to be at the con. You've gotten a chance to play some games, to meet some new people. Day 3, the beginning of day 3, you may have had some failures in some of your games, or maybe you missed a game, or maybe you had a game you were hosting that nobody showed up. But day 3 is kind of the beginning of the weekend redemption. You have, you have tons of people that come in on day 3. It's the busiest day of the con. There's lots of energy in the dealer hall. There's lots of energy with events going on. They do the costume parade. There's tons of lines. So there's tons of people. And then you also have that opportunity to kind of redeem what 2 days you might have lost to the 2 days that are coming in GenCon. So I'm going to set the parameter as: do you prefer the experience of GenCon at day 1 or day 3? So let's start with Chris.
I enjoy arriving at GenCon, and I enjoy, getting, mixed back into the whole experience of it every time. But by day 3, this is for me personally, obviously, I love the major events. I love things that are on a very large scale. If people don't know about this, you will hear about it at some point on this podcast in the future. I love the Indianapolis 500. These massive, large events, the kind of games I go to in war games, War Game World War II, NSDM. NSDM had like a 6 to 8 hour mega game. Those are very interesting to me because the longer games go, especially those kinds of games, there's so many more possibilities, and I love the infinite possibilities of gaming, all the things that can happen, and especially in war games, real life role playing action games. So in terms of the enjoyment of the games themselves, I'd have to say definitely day 3. That said, the first day, you know that there's so much more still to come. Whereas on day 3, towards the end, you're about to say, oh man, it's almost over. And that I don't like. But that comes with the territory. So I'd lean toward day 3.
All right. Derek?
Day 1.
Lance?
Day 3.
Debbie?
Day 1.
Kari?
I'm a day 1.
Day 1. Joshy?
Day 3.
All right, going around the table.
Day 3 because I'm a newbie.
There you
and
go.
So day 1 was overwhelming, and I'm lost, and oh my god, and what have I gotten myself into?
I'm not even going to have a good time with this thing. Yeah.
And of course, day 3 was UFS World, which by that time I knew my way around. I knew where all the bathrooms were.
There you go. That's probably the most important. Yeah.
And which ones didn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, day 3 was, my comfort level was better.
Okay. Avital?
I'm going to say day 3.
All right. I'm going to say day 3 as well. I really, I'll kind of start a little bit of the discussion between day 1 and day 3, but we'll kind of go back around the table, starting with Derek on kind of defining where we were at. I think for me, especially this year, day 3 was very important because I did something different this year than I have in any previous year, and I got a chance to volunteer for a gaming company that needed help, which I had a great time doing. I got a chance to meet new people that were working for the company. I got a chance to talk to people that were there for gaming, demo some really fun games, get some really great product through the company and stuff for compensation for being here. And overall, it was really cool. But I'll tell you what, the first 2 days of GenCon for me were very challenging. I had a lot of hurdles that I had to get over because I was expending a lot of energy because I was doing my salesman-y extrovertedness, talking to people, which takes a lot of energy, even as an extrovert. And I was running on literally no sleep or less than 4 hours of sleep for the first 2.5 days, counting Wednesday, of GenCon because I had to work Wednesday night and Thursday night. I work overnight shift, and I couldn't get it off for work, but I'm not going to miss a GenCon. I love it too much. It's my con, and especially because of the last-minute commitment that I made to help out with doing demoing and stuff like that. I wasn't going to miss it. I was going to take every opportunity that I could to help out and to meet new people and to play games and to really kind of boost whatever I could at this at GenCon for this company. And I got to work for Jasco Games, which was a lot of fun. But day 3, I realized at the end of day 3, I was just beat because I had not gotten to experience GenCon the way I had the last 11 years of GenCon. And I began to really realize why GenCon means to me what it means to me, because to me, GenCon is, and especially, having done this podcast now for 4 years, and we kind of talked about it a little bit at Indie PopCon when we did our 100th episode. Conning is fun whether you're an exhibitor or an attendee, but I feel like you kind of put roles in those conventions for what you're going to do there. So for us, Indie PopCon is our exhibitor con. It's not as big as GenCon. There's still about 20,000 people that show up, and the energy is a little different, but so is the crowd. The crowd is not necessarily a hardcore gamer crowd. It's more of a melting pot of people. There's tons of pop.
I wouldn't call them a casual gamer. They are really like into the pop culture.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Well, I mean they have game room. They have a game room that has arcade games, and they did the big Halo competition and stuff like that. So you were selling your wares and things like that. So I mean there was an identification of gaming there, but I would say overall it's a pop culture convention, which is cool. It's a different kind of crowd. You can have interviews on your gaming podcast with professional wrestlers at a PopCon because that's what's there, and it's cool, you know. Or cartoon characters, yeah, things like that. Whereas Gen Con for us is our attendee con as gamers, because this is kind of the breeding ground of a lot of our relationships.
Up here.
And you know, this is something that we hold near and dear, regardless if certain politicians do or not. And this is something that we as gamers and passionate people are going to fight for, and we love it. We really dig it. And I realized Saturday night that I had not gotten my Gen Con experience, and so we got together and we put some games together and we put some podcasting stuff together, and by the end of the night it was like I had finally had that Gen Con experience. I got to sit down at a table and play even just a couple rounds of we didn't play test this at all. Yeah. Hilarious game if you've never played it. Definitely check it out for the love.
Easy to get your friends into because you just start dealing cards.
But it's like, to me, I had not gotten that Gen Con experience until that moment when I was sitting at the table with Tracy Hickman and really kind of feeling that love from everybody, and then sitting down and playing a game with friends, and then going and walking around in the middle of the night to get White Castle and having that, having Gen Con for me. And I was like, all right, this is why I'm here. This is what I love to do, and I'm glad that I got a chance to do it. So go ahead, Chris.
Just a question regarding not having your Gen Con experience that makes me want to ask the question. You were volunteering for the company, and I know you had a good experience doing that, but having it to do potentially next year, would you do something like that again if you had to wait until Saturday evening, which is, only the evening before the end? Would you do it?
I'll tell you what, I'll wait to answer that question until we get into our discussion stuff, because that's definitely something that I'm going to bring up. Yeah, okay. But leaving it. So, Derek.
Okay, so I said day one.
I was going to say, remind me of your answer because I'm long-winded.
Yeah, that's fine. I am a day one.
News, water is wet.
The sun is also bright.
Yeah.
I'd say it was really day one because between the 2 days of 1 and 3, I really felt like the most at Gen Con at day one for me, because Gen Con for most of my time has been a little bit of UFS, a lot of role playing, and some wandering around the exhibit hall. And so within that day, that was what my
so your day one was all that?
Was all of that, yes.
So then you had 3 more days.
Like, everything was in that day. Like,
okay.
I had UFS, I did the exhibit hall a little bit, and then I did the Pathfinder game, and then my USS game, no one showed. So, yes, everything happened for me. My Gen Con.
Per the norm.
That one.
It's almost to a point now where you're just like, I'm going to schedule a USS game and I'm going to bring Monopoly.
Yeah.
Because
I'm sorry. I can imagine him doing that.
Yes.
Vanessa would turn that into a game.
Yeah, I know.
She would. So fine.
However, Friday, was probably one of the best USS games I've run in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Madcap. It was the 70s superheroes game.
Oh, that's fun. That one's fun anyway.
That whole storyline is
that one's so much fun anyway.
And I had my boyfriend here. He helped provide the Jewish content for the. He was my.
That's my job.
Is that a requirement for you or something?
He is from Scarsdale.
No,
so
not maybe, but in these USS games, it's like must contain Jewish humor.
Apparently, it worked great.
This is not meant to be racist. It's more he wishes he had Mel Brooks in his back pocket.
That's seriously.
It's kind of racism in reverse.
Yeah,
It's
right.
anti-racism.
We love your humor.
Semitism.
Yes.
Anti-Semitism.
That's pretty much accurate because it was a Jewish pirate. So.
Oh, jeez.
That sounds awesome. There was no other word for
R
it.
with a phlegm at the end of
Yes.
it.
Arr.
One of the ships had a menorah on it.
Wow.
Anyways,
Okay. So, anyways, that's the reason why
Move on
they
before I get in
won.
trouble.
Yes. Moving
our,
on.
Our tired GenCon humor.
Lance,
Yes,
you said
I said day 3
He said it.
why?
because you wouldn't let me say day 2 or 4
Oh.
Okay, well, why did you say day 3?
because you wouldn't let me say day 2 or 4.
Alright, so the question is begging.
Let's just do the circle.
Was it day 2 or day 4?
Honestly, day 2.
Day 2.
Yeah, well, day 2 didn't count
I know.
because I said day 1 or 3.
So day 3.
Okay, tyranny. Rise up.
That's
Day
right.
3 because I can remember the experiences of day 1 and 2 and how much fun I had.
Okay. Debbie.
Well, it's funny that Lance says that because actually I think I would have picked day 2 as well. But you said it was day 1 or day 3?
Yeah, because it's about me.
Because it's like the proper little ISTJ that I am. I'll follow the rules, so it was day 1. But day 2 was first. Anyway.
actually, it was second, but first in your.
Thank you, Joshy.
First list, day 2 came first. But, alright, anyway. So day 1...
Yes.
Because part of it is because of the Gen Con. It's fresh, it's new, it's shiny. It's been a whole year. I haven't had a vacation since January. Oh my gosh, I'm on vacation, thank God. The first time bringing my daughter to Gen Con. It was her first Gen Con where she was
That's technically not true.
well, now I know that's true. That she was out of me. She was
Okay.
actually a separate, completely
Her
separate
own
entity.
living, breathing self
Exactly,
to Gen Con,
to Gen Con, correct.
this year.
That is correct. And we got to play in Derek's the Pathfinder game that he was running, which was a great way to start, just having a good, fun time. We saw Mary Beth again, who was in tons of Derek's games.
Was
and
she?
then, yeah.
She was in that, and she was in my USS.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
she was in both, so-
That's cool. Did you invite her to September? Yes. Is it September or October?
Yeah, I
we're
did,
doing
but
it?
she can't make it.
Full crap.
I know, but and next year I'm only running one game at Gen Con,
Okay.
the USS.
All right.
Okay.
Cool. Sorry, go ahead and finish.
No,
Sorry.
that's fine. I
Because
mean,
you can
and
only
then
play Monopoly so many times.
Yeah.
Monopoly Lord of the Rings edition. There she is now.
Bonnie might not agree with you.
Yeah, that's probably true. So, and then for the first of the 2 Pathfinder specials that I played was Thursday night, which is great. My energy is still up. I'm not completely exhausted yet. So for those reasons, it was day 1. But day 2, which I'm sure we'll get to later in discussion, I had really, really good stuff happen day 2. So, but
Oh gosh, Maggie. Carrie is holding Maggie, and Maggie just nailed her in the forehead with a mint or gum box
Mentos
thing.
box.
It's not the first time I've been like headbutted or something
Oh my
flung at my
gosh.
head or something.
we're trying to teach her that no one wins in a headbutt, but she has not gotten this concept yet.
Not quite yet.
But she's fascinated, so we'll go with it.
All right.
So.
Well, Carrie.
It's actually my turn.
Yes, it is. She was just waking you up. Hey, you're next. Smack you in the head with a fork.
So I would have to say, I did say day 1 because 1 we did our Doctor Who cosplay, which was awesome, and I found my shirt like 3 days before
That's
Gen
right.
Con. I almost gave up on the whole cosplaying Doctor Who thing. And also, I got to come with Maggie. And I'm going to give some tips on Gen Con with the baby later. So.
There you go.
I'm in that. Monday
And-
was time traveling Doctor Day.
Yeah, because
Yes.
Dr. Brown was there as well.
Yes.
Joshy,
I chose day 3.
why?
The biggest reason I chose day
Hickman's
3.
Killer Breakfast.
So I'm not. I don't tend to be the tradition guy. My wife is very much a traditionalist in a lot of things, but for GenCon, there are certain things that I make it a point. I've got to do this each year, and apparently I just get to add one of those lists, and that means I have to at least be in one of Derek's games, even if it's Pathfinder.
Okay.
Instead of USS, which again I apologize for. I have to be in one of Derek's games, even though we have Derek here all the time. But Derek at Gen Con is it's a different thing for some reason.
It's like the Super Bowl.
I crank it up to 11. The rest of the time I'm at 3.
However, that game
If
was
you're
on
in the
Friday,
room,
so
you're going to get dragged into the game, too.
it's true. It's true.
Yes, you will.
So, but on day 3, yes, Donald, we had Hickman's Killer Breakfast. I got to walk the hall kind of for the first time with my wife and daughter at some point. And, of course, Kari had been helping out tremendously. We got to try out a couple of games while we were in the hall. And then this ultimately ended in the chaos, organized eventually chaos, but chaos nonetheless, of getting 20-some-odd people together to try and play games, only to have half of us bail out to go record with Tracy Hickman because that was the only time Tracy was available. Yeah. I'm not griping whatsoever about it because I think we got a different side of Tracy when he was completely exhausted come day 3.
The walls come down.
Man.
By day 3, you see a more real Tracy.
You guys got to Tracy Hickman.
Yeah.
I was with Judy and Daniel, and we were at the restaurant in the Marriott.
Okay.
And
High Velocity or the other one?
No, Circle.
Oh, in Marriott.
Oh, Marriott. Circle. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Red Dragon.
Tracy Hickman was there eating dinner before you guys.
Yeah, I knew he was doing dinner. I didn't know he was doing it there.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
And we saw him, and he was dead. I was like, "This is going to be awesome."
It was good stuff. So
he spoke for an hour before we started recording,
which was for another 2 hours.
Right.
So which you should have already listened to.
Yeah. Why are you listening to this now? Turn it off. Listen to the Hickman episode, then come back.
Then come on back.
Why are you assuming they haven't?
I'm giving them the opportunity
Jeez,
to say,
Josh.
no, I did it. Anyways, so, but those two, with Tracy Hickman in general, are, traditions that we've now created as a podcast, as a family, whatever it may be. And I love the fact that it's I get to look forward to day 3. Because Hickman's Killer Breakfast is, when I'm going through the list of stuff now, I got to find a game by Derek, I got to find a Pathfinder special, I got to do the Killer Breakfast.
Never mind.
They're in my cart as soon as I can get them in there.
Then you and I need to coordinate for next year.
Okay. Yes. Fair enough. So it worked out really well, and that's why it was my opportunity for my Gen Con traditions to be completed. We're on day 3.
Okay. Avital?
Or Judy.
I already said.
I skipped Chris too.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I explained all that stuff.
Yeah, we know.
That's why
the regular hosts know how this works. You answer, and then you provide the explanation.
but I didn't know.
And then you're cool. It's totally fine.
First time
we didn't explain that.
We didn't. And
We
we're
didn't
not
lay
upset.
we didn't lay the rules, so it was up for interpretation.
It's entirely Don's fault.
It is.
Actually, I'm sorry.
I'm enjoying the chaos. Actually,
You're the producer.
You're the producer.
This is not nice.
But now we know, so we'll do it.
So Avital.
Hi, Avital. By the way, those are awesome glasses.
Thank you.
And the wig is awesome too.
Yeah.
Didn't
that's a wig?
recognize you, but
From yesterday, I cut my hair, dyed it blonde, and straightened
and
it.
straightened it. Yes, because curly hair is easy
It looks
to
good
straighten.
on you.
Only to then by next weekend, it'll be right back the way it
You're
was.
you're like
Tomorrow.
you're a shade shy
we may
of
not see her.
Malfoy, Draco.
The shades do kind of help the whole outfit because, it's very much in the eyes. We didn't recognize you because I think your eyes
You're
are...
Avital, what's your cosplay?
Oh, I am cosplaying Dave Strider from Homestuck.
There you go. Look
thank
up
you.
Homestuck and look for Dave Strider.
All right,
That's what I look
Avital.
like. All right,
Go
day
ahead.
3. It's a lot of it for me. It has to do with cosplay. On Saturday, I debuted my newest cosplay, even though it wasn't quite done. Didn't have finishing touches, but
Still looked great.
My mother is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And
I wanted to
we
steal
put together
her to make all my clothes.
A steampunk Lady Loki costume. It's green dress, really full skirt and cuff sleeves that kind of poof, and lots of cool fabric.
Mm-hmm.
That's crisscrossy, and it's really awesome.
Some beautiful detail on the bottoms
really awesome.
And sleeves. And,
Anyways, so I was really excited about that. I got to wear that, and for the past, this is the third year, and my sister has brought my nephew down. The first year we dressed him up, or I dressed him. I bought the clothes. She dressed him technically, as he was a little 11th Doctor, and I was the 10th Doctor.
Aww.
And then last year he was a little Captain Mal, and I was wearing my steampunk Kaylee outfit. Mm-hmm. And then this year I had the steampunk Loki, and he was dressed up in a little Thor costume.
He was so cute.
So adorable.
I mean, he showed me the picture, and I'm like, oh, and he apparently knows exactly how to pose.
My sister
the foot was ahead, and
worked with
the hammer was
this
up.
week.
I mean,
she's like, hold up your hammer.
I was going to say, look who,
hold up your hammer.
His mom and his aunt, they're hams for the camera.
Well,
so.
it was
my whole family takes so many pictures. Liam is already pretty good.
Yeah,
only 2.5.
There you go.
But yeah,
it was a great little.
A future cosplay star.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Sure. So I get to do that cosplay. It's my newest one. I'm super excited about it. And always just hanging out with people. Even though I do that every day, but cosplay is a lot of what I like to do at conventions. So. Even though I did other fun things over the weekend, which we'll talk about later.
That's right. As a matter of fact, we can just start talking about it now. So,
it's later.
That's right. It is later. So, as you have hopefully previously heard before, when we do a con review episode, we ask a few questions of ourselves.
Deep questions.
Deep questions. Not really that deep, I guess.
Why am I here?
That was last night.
What is the meaning of...
No, why am I here and not at home?
Oh, yeah, why am I here not sleeping?
Actually, I can tell you why we're still here, but anyway.
Because we're talking.
So,
later.
All right, so GenCon 2015. We're going to go around the table and discuss, and I'm telling you this now because I'll start. That way you guys have time to come up with your answers. Since we didn't do pre-show notes. Sorry, Lance. So for GenCon 15, we always ask some of the same questions when we get done at a con. We did the same for Fear the Con. If you haven't listened to that episode, shame on you. Go back and listen to it when you get done listening to this one. We were, it was, and almost as entertaining, actually.
Yeah. Almost.
So, your best GenCon moment... Your least best GenCon moment, because we don't say worst.
Ever or of this year?
This year, for 2015.
Okay.
All of these things are for 2015. So your best con moment, your least best con moment, your favorite game at the con, and what do you want to do different next year? Those are...
GenCon can do different, or what?
What do we want to do as GenCon attendees...
Personally.
To have a different experience for next year, whether it be good or bad or whatever.
And keep in mind, guys, there are, 10 of us?
Right. So
keep it short.
So keep it short. I mean, have a little bit of definition in it, but keep it, concise. So, best con moment, least best con moment, favorite game at the con, and what about next year? All right? So, I'll go ahead and start with my best con moment for GenCon 2015. It's actually... kind of a tie, but really all in my own heart and mind rolled into one giant experience, and that is Tracy Hickman. Mm-hmm. I went to his breakfast on Saturday morning and had the most fun.
No breakfast.
Well, actually, I had breakfast at the JW, so I didn't worry about not having breakfast at Tracy Hickman's. Which we discussed in line, that since they're doing now the commando versus the audience attendee, we should try and convince Tracy to actually get breakfast for the commandos. Because they only have they had 65 commandos.
They had 70 tickets available, 63 showed up.
63.
Okay.
But they were sold out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the event was sold out.
People couldn't get into the commando thing.
Right, because of GenCon's policy. Anyway, so we're not going to go into that right now. Yeah, so Tracy Hickman is my best GenCon experience. Being able to go to his killer breakfast, laugh so hard, the whole show, all 3 hours. And then also the podcast that we had that was also 3 hours now that I think about it.
Yes.
He likes 3 hour segments.
He does, you know. And,
he's a game master.
He is.
He's a storyteller.
He's
My apologies.
he's amazing. So, but just being able to spend time with Tracy, and, you know, we were sad that Laura couldn't come, but we're really excited for them. They've got weddings going on in their lives, or, well, I guess hopefully by now it's over.
No, the wedding is
next week.
Oh yeah, by the time this is released.
By the time you're listening,
right.
yeah.
You all fail. Thank you,
I'm sorry, the fourth wall is hard to understand on the fourth date.
future people. Anyway, so congratulations or pre-congratulations, I guess, depending on what time you listen to this.
The established facts.
The established facts.
Congratulations,
Yes.
Tasha and her husband.
Tasha and Mr. Hickman.
I mean, if he's smart, he'll take the family.
I'm just saying. And we love Tracy and Laura for spending time with us, and we hope that everything went smashing. Yes. And didn't. Smashing. Turned out
You
well.
got that toaster I sent, right?
Oh,
Wink, wink.
Checks in the mail. So, I'll go ahead and
Sit down, shut up, shell out.
start to my right with Avital. That way, some of our newer people can get a chance to really kind of digest that for themselves, and some of our older people can also jog their brains and figure out what they had the most fun with. Since half of them are falling asleep at the table. Not really. Okay, so Avital, your best GenCon 2015 moment.
All right. I would have to say, oh, jeez.
Liam.
Well, I mean, yeah, like so perfect little Thor, so cute.
He was. He really was.
But I mean, I already said
If
that.
you
I
can't
liked
tell,
that.
Avital hates her family.
I can tell.
Especially her now.
Especially her with the utmost love.
Yeah, honestly, like, just like being able, even if he's only 2.5, which I can't believe he was like only like 7 or 8 months the first time he was here. That's holy cow. But yeah, having Liam be able to come, you know, my sister is good enough to bring him down, and my dad takes pictures. But like, and everybody's like, "Oh, look at," and I'm like, "Yes, he is adorable."
That's my nephew.
Yes, you may take a picture.
We were not trying to put words into your mouth. I hope. I mean,
No, I know, but I mean, I already talked about how much I love him. Okay, so that, but I also really like doing the Pathfinder special games. Like, those are really cool.
They
like,
were fun. They were a lot of fun.
Just being in the whole giant room and like everybody's like playing through the same game and like working toward the same goal, and like our successes are. Oh no! Okay, here, best moment. Cheerleader.
Oh, the cheerleader.
That was mine.
Yes.
The
Oh,
cheerleader.
That was mine.
Oh, I got it. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, it's your
cheerleader.
turn. You two can share it.
Yeah.
So, okay.
No, I'll come up with a new one now.
Oh.
It's been said, but that was
Oh,
mine.
yeah.
If you don't know what we're talking about,
I can.
I don't
Yeah.
even know what
Look
you're
for the
talking
video.
about.
definitely look for the video.
The volunteers
and the pictures,
that are taking
but
these
yes.
signals from the GMs, the one that was standing next to us on Friday night, she looked like she was doing cheerleader things. So Lance, I think, asked her, "Are you a cheerleader?" She's like, "Oh
I
yeah."
recognize that I used to be a cheermaster.
And so the next time we got a success, she did a backflip for us, and then she kept doing it like when we got successes, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's pretty
it's
bad.
pretty awesome.
My worst? No, least best?
No, just best right now.
Just best right now. Okay, good.
We'll go around and do least best in a minute. Judy.
Best,
Best
without
GenCon.
a doubt, was being a commando at Killer Breakfast.
That's awesome.
I had actually seen Tracy Hickman at a different con 24 years ago
Okay. Yeah.
in a different state when I was much younger, but he's an amazing storyteller, and my character lived a whole 20 minutes.
Yes, that is.
Wow, he was killing slowly.
He was.
Well, it's because Laura wasn't there.
That's right.
From what everybody kept
everybody
saying,
was making him laugh.
yeah, Laura.
So we're laughing like.
So you were.
From what I understand, Laura is the more ruthless one.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. But from what I understand, she said,
"Did you just open your mouth to speak? You're dead."
"Oh, you're dead.
Don't mess with Laura.
You tripped up the stairs. Go ahead and trip back down the stairs. You died. You fell and broke your neck. You died."
And anybody who watched that, I was the beer delivery person.
Yes, you were.
Which made me popular.
There you go.
Proud.
Nice.
All right, Joshy, best Gen Con moment.
Best Gen Con moment, and I'm going to go ahead and tear at the heartstrings of folks. This is totally ungaming related. I don't even remember what caused it, but we were in the exhibit hall. I don't remember what booth. I know that it happened on Friday. We were just after our True Dungeon events, and we had come back and we were in the exhibit hall, and Kari met up with us.
We were still in True Dungeon.
Was it? Oh, it was. That's right. It was just after True Dungeon. You're right. We just finished True Dungeon though, because we went over and we just pulled our treasure and everything. And I walk over, and Maggie is. Kari's got her in a holder facing outward. And I walk up and I'm like, "Oh, hi Maggie, nice to see you." And she just reaches out and gives me this big hug. Aww. Like, "Oh my God, it's Daddy."
Oh.
She's only 10 months.
She's 10 months old, and I did 2 Pathfinder specials, 2 True Dungeons. I got to play Specialist Sam Spoon in the friggin' Pathfinder event with Derek. I had opportunities to save the world and got melted down by the heart because of my daughter. So
if you didn't, then you'd be a douche. And so therefore you're not.
I'm not, which is just a positive thing. So I don't think I'll ever forget that. It was adorable. So.
All right, Kari.
Can I have a tie?
Sure.
You can be a fence-sitter.
Bow ties are cool.
Probably actually getting to play a game while taking care of Maggie. This game. You were pretty much the only game I played all weekend. So, no, it was great. I got to play a rogue and got to be, all sneaky and
rogues.
And I didn't have to worry about figuring out how to use the magic. So, that was fun. And Maggie, she's been a trooper this weekend.
She's done really, really well. This weekend. She's all smiles right now, so she's got the most energy out of everyone at this table.
Yes, she does.
Combined.
She has more.
She has.
Okay, so
I have to give props to Derek because he let us use his room.
That's true.
To give her a nap, and he is the reason why I got to actually go to GenCon.
There you go. Thank you, Derek.
Thank you.
Bruh.
All
right, Deb.
We owe you something for that.
Yeah.
I don't know what yet.
A hand clap of awesomeness.
We got my name.
Woo! That's not awesomeness. Come on, yeah, woo! All the people are going, why are they clapping? This is ridiculous. Debbie.
And they obviously never listen to the show.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So I'm gonna claim
especially all of our post-con shows.
One of them is the pull of the heartstrings one, and one of them is more the hardcore gamer one. So we've got a balance here. So the first one is today when we're walking around the con, and I'm in my steampunk cosplay. So it's a tick uncomfortable, but I had her in the holder, and she wanted to be facing me because she wanted to see Mama. And we were walking the exhibit hall, and all of a sudden she just sort of gives up. Like she's been looking around, all of a sudden she's just like, poof, and her little head just falls forward, and she's got her thumb in her mouth, and she's falling asleep on me as we're walking the exhibit hall. Like, Mama, I'm done. I went as far as I could. I can't go anymore. and she took a little power nap for 20 or 30 minutes, which is why she's being so stinking cute right now. But and so that was just adorable. I have my sleeping baby girl while I'm at GenCon, while I'm in steampunk cosplay. I mean, I don't know what more I can say.
I was there too.
Yeah, he was there somewhere too. But it was my.
It's funny now how much your daughter's recognizing that you're around and wants you to be there. And now all of a sudden your wife is starting to just kind of eliminate you from all of it. I'm just kidding.
No.
My daddy is important too.
Yes, he is. Yes. So that's my heartstring moment. My more hardcore gamer would be the first True Dungeon that we did on Friday, the Into the Underdark.
Yeah, because I was there.
One. Don was there. Well, both you and Lance were both there. Josh was there. I was there.
Too, wasn't he?
And I forget if there was another one. So it was great because there was kind of a little bit of group camaraderie going.
Prime Vanessa.
Thank you. I was like, there were more. Yeah, Prime and Vanessa. So there were 6 of us from our group in that. Out of 6 out of 10.
And a guy who had run the dungeon 4 times.
Yes.
And was actually really cool.
Yes.
About he just wanted to participate because he wanted more coins and stuff like that.
Right. He wanted the treasure, which
but
but
he was not a super jerk about the fact that he had been through.
Very
previous
nice guy, kind of coaching, nice. Encouraging people, hey, let people know if it's a fast board or a slow board, because that'll help us all out.
Take that as a word of advice, all of you True Dungeoners.
Yes.
He had integrity.
Yes, he did.
Instead of a manager.
Correct, correct. He led well.
If you decide you're going to do True Dungeon and you happen to get lumped in with the established facts, just keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it is.
No, I'm just kidding.
Be participatory and be a part of the team.
Yes.
Or just do what Mikey Mason says and don't be a douchebag.
Amen. That's good advice.
All right, Lance. Sorry, Lance. Go, Lance.
My true moment, Avital has already spoken of, so I will tell you about my second favorite moment and the runner-up, which is apparently it's the new trend. So my runner-up.
So you're second and third, then,
is cosplay.
Yeah.
Day one, going as Doc Brown, walking around with.
That was such a fun costume.
The Doctor Who, and people getting it when I'm walking next to someone dressed as Doctor Who, Josh.
You know what I think would have been really fun that you could probably do in future Dr. Brown? Since they have sonic screwdrivers, you have to get a box and build a flux capacitor.
My wife was dressed in a flux capacitor.
Oh, was she? Okay, yeah. I didn't realize that.
I also had a Black & Decker power screwdriver with me.
That's true.
So he had a screwdriver.
That's true.
To take a picture, I would take mine.
It was pretty hilarious.
I also dressed up as my monk character on Saturday. Mm-hmm. And for about a half an hour, I walked out the front doors of the ICC right across the street to the St. John the Evangelist Catholic Church and just stood there and watched people go by. And some people would take my picture because they thought it was neat that there was a priest standing out with his shepherd's crook and his black habit, even though it was a monk. The best part, though, a kid walked over in front of me, and as his family walked by, he sneezed. And I just, without missing a beat, "Bless you, my son." Mm-hmm. His father turned around, looked at me, and just died laughing. So that's the runner-up moment. The bestest moment was Tracy Hickman talking about Ravenloft and Count Strahd. Hearing this character that I have emoted with for years, and his father talking about him basically.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was.
It was cool. It was cool. It was cool. We have some of our better moments hanging out with Tracy. He's a good guy. Much love for that guy. All right, Derek.
Okay, so like everybody else, I have a heartstring moment and I have a gamer moment. Okay, so my heartstring moment actually involves Dawn.
Stop it, Lance.
So
inappropriate poop face.
So my boyfriend and I have been discussing kilts, and he was like, he was helping out at the Jessica booth, which is right across from the kilt booth.
Utilikilt.
Yeah. And so,
those guys were the coolest.
Oh, they were.
They were like the nicest people ever. They actually gave Daniel and I a hug as we were walking out today. The people working the Utilikilt booth.
So I walked up to him and said, "Hey, you know what, guys? I want to do a surprise for my boyfriend. I want to buy him a kilt. And he knows what kilt he wants. I know you guys already sized him, but I want you to do it." And they're like, look, now we can't do any refunds and so forth. I was like, I don't care, just I want them to have a kill. And they're like, okay, we'll talk with the guys over at the booth and we'll get this done.
Yep.
So, sort of third party knowledge was that Lily and you conspired with them to get him over to the booth kicking and screaming.
That's right. That was awesome.
By the way, that disembodied voice was from Daniel himself, the boyfriend.
Hi, Daniel.
And as a side note, I want to thank Lily for really stepping up and helping out with that too. She was a sweetheart. So,
and so the guys there fitted him, gave him the kill, and he was crying, and I heard they was crying. I was like, yes, it's worked.
Oh, my evil plan worked.
I get boyfriend points. So yes. It's that was my favorite. That was my favorite heartstring moment. My favorite gamer moment was actually the second breakfast.
Yeah.
Hickman's second breakfast.
Had you been to one of those yet?
Not the second one. I've been to.
No, the second one is usually the year before.
Right. So I've been to Hickman before.
Okay.
But two things. Three things actually. Number one, I got up there and I said that because I was in my steampunk sailor submariner outfit, and I said that some stupid wizard cast blah 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 on me, and now
blah 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 returned.
Because nobody did it in ours.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We love you.
We probably could have done that.
I know,
but we had a different one.
And they sent me to where the field was, and so we had Godzilla, King Kong, Cthulhu, everybody there.
Cthulhu
and then
signed for the beer.
Awesome.
And started drinking it. And then my submarine. Originally I was like, okay, this is going to be a normal submarine. Then Hickman said, okay, so is it Yellow Submarine? I was like, yes, it is. And we started going through the Yellow Submarine song. Everybody in the audience started singing it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wonderful.
But also, we got a preview of your guys' breakfast as well.
Oh, yeah?
Someone did something from Game of Thrones.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
And so he previewed one of the songs from your guys, too.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun.
So that's it.
All right, Chris, go for it.
As is now the pattern, as I realized what I was writing and thinking up my favorite moments, I have a favorite con moment that is Heartstring, and another that I guess I would say close second. The Heartstring is my favorite moment, but close second would be Absolute Total Gamer. And the pattern we've been doing, I'll start with Heartstring.
Sure.
In the NSDM game, or I should spell that out, some of you on there might not know what NSDM is. It is a live-action role-play political game where if you play different roles, different factions and so on across the world, different nations and so forth.
What does NSDM?
I'm going to say that. Okay. It stands for National Security Decision Making Game. Sometimes they say NSDMG, but that doesn't matter. Anyway, me and my brother, we very much enjoy playing this game now. Of course, he just started playing it this year. He had heard about it, but he had never played it before. In his first 2 games he ever played, I watched him, insofar as the context of the game, save the world twice from nuclear war by making decisions that were against or despite the rules of the game that favor selfish behavior. Now, those rules are for a point. It's the nature of the game. You're trying to get your agenda over others. I mean, that's a game. But twice, he effectively threw himself on his sword to save everyone else. And as I'm standing there, and walking back with him through the con and thinking, I would vote for him for President of the United States. I'm not joking. He was making the right decisions. He was trying to work with everybody. And at the end, actually, I don't think even the controllers, that's their term for the GMs, the Game Masters, I don't think they even fully realized how much he had basically done to make the world a better place in the context of this game. And if he were in a position of actual real power, a lot of things would probably become much better. I honestly believe that. So it sounds weird, but in Heartstring, it's... My brother's being a badass right now, and it's in a game where you wouldn't expect that. And that game is so realistic that it's not outrageous to think he'd make a very good leader in general. So, I wanted to say to my brother, you're awesome, man. You are awesome.
All right.
for a second. And
sorry, Chris. I forgot you had a second one.
Second one. I'll be much faster in this one. That's Pathfinder Society. I never played Pathfinder Society until this year. I happen to love it now. My brother also played in that, so he might mention that if he's ever on the podcast. I don't know. Has John been on here before?
No.
Okay.
No.
I hope he comes on sometime.
You got to play with Nick and
Nathaniel and who else? Dara, although Dara wasn't in the mega game. Oh well. Pathfinder mega game. I create a character right off the cuff. I just, have to do something and put it into Pathfinder Society. I'll build them up over time. But in the mega game, I was feeling it. I was feeling that character and how to play it and, how exactly what would be done, and we were winning a lot of battles. We were actually roaring through the game. It was really fun. And it's not often that I can just make a character and yet immediately feel this is it. We're immersed. We're having fun and the whole thing. We're rocking and rolling. So as a gamer, I love being part of Pathfinder Society in the mega game because I wasn't expecting it to be that immersive, is what it felt like. But then when I was in, it was like, yes, this is why I love role-play gaming. So
very cool. Very cool. Well, that kind of gets us into the next question I'm going to do. So real quick, we won't do explanations necessarily, but just real quick, give me your favorite game for GenCon 2015. And we'll go ahead and start with Chris, and we'll go around the opposite way of the table. So, Chris, favorite game of 2015 GenCon?
I want to have two games. I want to have my favorite game, and I want to have my favorite new game.
Sure.
And the favorite new game, I don't know if I'm
break
stealing
the rules
it.
right off the bat.
Yeah.
What rules?
I do, because there's games you love time after time,
Just
but
like
then
when we
there's
play regular games. You give us the rules, we break them.
That's right. That's fine.
Exactly right.
See, Derek has to deal with it in role-playing. I just have to deal with it when we podcast. That's the difference.
But that makes Don an outstanding GM because he flows with it, and he continues.
Compliments over there. Enjoy there.
Yes.
Well, all right, Chris.
My favorite game would be that I played this year or in general.
That you played at GenCon.
That I played at this GenCon was NSDM. It's so immersive, it's so deep, it's just plain awesome, and we'll talk about it later, maybe.
I think I know what your favorite new game is going to be, so go ahead and tell.
My favorite new game, I don't want to steal it from Don.
No, it's okay. Go for it.
I assume most of the audience out there has seen the movie Top Gun. If you haven't, I don't know what planet you came from. Or please come back from Papua New Guinea, we want you to meet civilization. Top Gun, the card game, is so fun to play. It is amazingly fun to play. And it's a party game, so lots of people can take part in it, and you can shift people out of seats, and someone new tag in and so on. And you get to have quotes from the movie that are so awesome, and you get to say it, and you get to skip round after round as this, and you're reliving those wonderful moments when you first saw that film and realized this is a film where all these actors are in it, and they're good actors, but the real star of the film is an F-14 Tomcat. So that's my favorite new game of GenCon.
Well, I'll definitely let you get away with that because I was the one who demoed that game for you.
Yes, and he demoed it awesome. He is a brilliant demoer, and you should get Don to do it for you. That is another plug. And I'm not sorry for saying it.
No, that's fine. Go ahead, Derek.
Favorite game would have to be the USS game that I ran Friday night. It was. We were on the floor laughing. I introduced USS to a whole new group of gamers from, what was it, Michigan, I think?
No, Wisconsin.
Oh, actual Wisconsin.
Yeah, and I got some props. I know we're not supposed to, I'm breaking rules.
What rules?
What rules? So they actually have a con to book their GenCon. So they get to
con to book their GenCon.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's sort of genius.
That is super meta. So
hardcore.
That's nuts. That's currently blowing my mind.
And they order their events 1 through 5 if they're interested in it. And my game was top 5.
Nice.
Yes. So that's why he went to it, because he does one RPG and one board game.
That's very cool.
So he was like, I was really excited about this. Glad that you're doing it. And then he left, and he was like, it was the best game ever, really. And not the Mikey Mason version.
Right, yeah, like a legitimately
best game.
I enjoyed it.
Okay.
All right, Lance.
I like to play the game of which food truck is going to make me the least sick.
I
don't think that's an official game at GenCon, but I understand where you're going.
That is a custom in-house game.
That's right.
You notice how he managed to get out one of his least favorite parts?
I noticed that.
Yeah, they have.
I really enjoyed the Super Big Fiasco game with Zach.
Oh, that's right.
Gordon. We did the class of 1994 reunion again.
Oh, nice.
It was a completely different game.
Oh, I'll bet.
That's probably not safe for
adult themes. That game was definitely. He said he could not air it as a podcast. It was just
no
to NSFW. So that one.
Debbie, favorite game of GenCon?
Favorite game of GenCon? Oh. It's a close tie between the first Pathfinder special on Thursday night and the True Dungeon that I mentioned, Into the Underdark. That's really close because I loved our Into the Underdark dungeon experience. When we got out of that dungeon, I was so jazzed. I mean, I needed to take care of my daughter because we only had an hour before our second True Dungeon. But I was just so energized. I was so excited. I was just, that was just so much fun. We were, the traps and riddles were so clever. Hi, Mikey Mason, here's your honor. I had a great time. So I think True Dungeon's winning, but just a little bit. But right underneath it was the Thursday night special.
Kari.
The only game I played. Derek's game.
There you go. That's easy.
Right?
Joshy.
For Maggie to fall asleep game?
That's also true.
Oh, that first day was like, oh.
I'm going to have to go with the Thursday Night Pathfinder special as well. And part of it was this. Our game master was excellent. Shout out to Kyle. Shout out to Mike too on Friday night because he's from Bloomington and he did a fantastic job with us. Even though apparently the rest of the 800 people that were there couldn't nearly do as well as we were doing.
That was kind of disappointing.
A little bit, yeah.
We were kicking butts and we were only first and second levels.
And on Thursday night, the big thing with the Thursday night, our entire party was first level. By Friday night, 2 of us at least were second level.
Yeah.
Thursday night, we had a couple of really entertaining sections. I was playing a Dwarven Fighter, and I literally cleaved 2 bad guys in 2. I don't have cleave, but I hit enough damage that the Game Master was like, you cut them straight up the middle, and they fall apart. Because 20 plus damage as a first level character is ridiculous. I critted twice in the same room. It was awesome. So...
And he used his own shirt to give Avital reroll.
He did.
He sure did.
Unfortunately, I still couldn't make the stupid roll, but it was amazing. It was.
For those who aren't aware, in Pathfinder Society, if you have in your possession at a Pathfinder Society game a Pathfinder Society T-shirt
or
the
theme shirt for the year,
the season shirt,
if
you have that in your possession, you can reveal it and use it for 1 reroll during a session.
That's right.
So. Our game master did that for us. It was hilarious.
I'm wearing the shirt. Go ahead and re-roll that.
You can re-roll it because I'm wearing the shirt. I'm like, that's terrible.
And we kept getting aid tokens over and over again.
We got 3 of them.
We were passing them back and forth to different teams and stuff.
We used it all for healing.
Yeah, we just kept healing in that game.
We were kind of getting our butts kicked.
But we got done early.
Kicking
butt.
Yeah,
we were doing really well.
Judy?
So, Judy, favorite game for GenCon 2015?
Favorite game is UFS.
Okay.
Favorite new game, I did Dingbat's Dungeon Doom. And it was a new gaming system.
Yeah.
WEGS, I think.
WEGS.
Yeah, WEGS. And Larry, the GM, was amazing and very patient, and the whole crew was very patient. I did a Dwarf Ranger.
Nice.
And there were a couple times where my dice rolls were really bad, and everybody was very helpful keeping me alive.
Took a little pity on you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah. Avital.
Yeah, good for you.
Maggie.
First, Maggie. Maggie has made her statement. So.
Maggie's favorite game is play with the Mentos box.
Play with the Mentos box is Maggie's decision.
It's right.
I'm gonna have to say probably, I think Friday night, the Pathfinder special. Just honestly, I don't know. I enjoyed having the cheerleader so much. That was just
We had our own cheerleader. I mean, come on.
Both nights were super
Kelly.
great. But
Kelly the cheerleader.
Kelly the cheerleader.
It's cool.
From Oklahoma. I didn't get a chance to ask him.
I saw him. I kept looking over at him.
It's funny because he was just laughing at her.
He was.
He was just laughing.
He was egging her on.
Yeah, no, it's funny,
Yeah.
but he was still laughing. He's just like,
I'm surprised there was enough room in there for backflips.
Yeah,
Boy,
She's like, hold on. She shoves the chair that she's been standing on to watch for the signals. She shoves it to the side and does the backflip.
Then whenever
great.
they would announce successes,
She
like
went
big,
over to the
she would go to the middle of the room and do like a series of 4 of them.
She did 4 in a row.
It was awesome.
It was great. It was great. She was awesome.
Okay.
Okay, so my favorite game for Gen Con 2015. I know we're at an hour. I got it. It's all right. Don't cry for me, Argentina. You know what? Because everybody else has said the Pathfinder Society board game or Pathfinder Society special on Friday, I'm going to go over to Chris's side and say Top Gun. Top Gun was my favorite new game and game for the weekend.
Even demoing it as much as you did?
No, seriously. I was talking to Chris today because he demoed it with me today. And I said, honest to goodness, I could be in the middle of demoing UFS or helping somebody demo Mega Man the board game or talking to somebody about product or something like that. Or just talking to somebody about Gen Con in general, like I do. And somebody could say, "Oh, you want?" Like I could hear just out of my peripheral hearing. I don't know if that's a thing or not. I don't know.
Now.
It is now. It's on the internet. It's true. I would hear somebody say, "Oh, you want to demo Top Gun?" And immediately I'd be like, "Yes, I do." What? No? Oh, you're not talking to me. Okay, yeah, awesome. Yeah, like I would. Yeah, exactly. Like I caught myself a couple times, like when I'd see people sitting down to demo, like there'd be an empty chair, and I'm like, I could just sit down and play. But
Top Gun.
It was so much fun. Every person. I had a lot of my own personal friends. From outside of the podcast and inside of the podcast come up and I demoed for them, and every one of them was like, how do I get a hold of this game? And it was a prototype, but it will be coming out from Jasco Games hopefully very soon. I'm really excited about it. It's going to be a fairly inexpensive game, and I'm definitely encouraging anybody who has an opportunity to buy it. If you need somebody to help you demo it, call me. Hit me up on Facebook. I will come to your house and show you how to play it because it was so much fun. So, Chris?
Oh, I'm just bringing up on that. Should you bring up the fact that we already imagined expansions to it?
Oh yeah, and I even talked to a couple of the guys about some of the ideas and some of them really liked them, and others didn't see them as practical as I did. But it's okay.
Well,
Lance,
I know.
I'm the only one that didn't do favorite new game.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with Exploding Kittens.
Oh, that was a fun
Lord.
game. Exploding Kittens was a fun game.
I enjoyed Exploding Kittens, but I think I enjoyed the. We haven't really playtested it at all. A little bit more.
We haven't playtested this at all.
Yeah, that was fun.
That's true.
That was
That's
fun.
because I hadn't done a new game either.
The expectation and the anticipation of Exploding Kittens.
True.
And watching that thing grow to what it was and finally getting it and being like, yes, this is fun.
It is fun. We didn't get nearly enough time because we were shuffling between rooms back and forth. But so yeah.
All right. Do we want to do least best or do we want to?
I want to, but I am going to have to call us and kind of sum us up right now. I'm sorry,
ladies and gentlemen. The producer's cutting our show off.
I hate to do that. But,
that's okay. We're tired.
Next time we get together, I think we can have a more.
We'll do another review.
Well, not being nice to other gamers. That's my least best, and I'll call it.
That's fair.
Minus strollers anywhere.
Yes.
We had issues with certain game.
I mean, if we can keep them to that long, we can do them that way.
That's right.
Running through the hall, being a pack mule for your stuff when there's a costume contest going on and you can't get where you need to go, and getting really creative.
Getting pegged in the bathroom with somebody's backpack and getting knocked almost out of the scooter.
Hers is the worst right now, I think.
Yes.
Watch those backpacks as you're slinging them over your shoulder or wherever. There might be people behind you.
Yes.
Going to a zoo, getting almost heat sick.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay,
that's pretty cool.
Avital?
This is on me, but wearing corsets 2 days in a row is tough.
Yeah.
No easily identifiable open gaming space in half the hotels.
Amen to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
We finally figured out what we could do.
Do you have one?
It's complex, but one of my friends had issues with the way the GMs are running a certain game. I'm not going to describe it because it would take too long, but
sure.
sometimes you want to make sure the GMs listen to you, and if they don't take you fully seriously, it's just like you're messing up the game experience. I'm sorry.
I would say my least best con moment was Thursday and Friday.
Just the 2 days.
It's Thursday and Friday. Not like mostly because I was exhausted from having to work. And then being at the con and
done.
Yeah, exactly that. Falling asleep. I had so much fun in the Pathfinder game, but I kept falling asleep just because I was exhausted.
Exactly.
So, things for next year.
Yeah, but I think that our next episode should be things for next year.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about things for next year. We'll kind of do part 2 of
that works. I can do that.
We can even wrap. We can make it our summer con wrap up episode.
And also we can do a baby review.
Yeah.
The baby segment has to be in there.
Definitely. As a first-time con goer.
Yes.
Because we won't have Judy next time.
Yes.
Unless you call me.
That's true.
What would you like to see next? What would you like to see Gen Con do?
Something different or something to improve next year.
I think they need something on the website of, so it's your first time. And just tips, tricks.
Yeah, that'd be a great
you
resource.
look at the schedule and it's very overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. This was my first con and first time. So.
Yeah.
So basically, like an FAQ, perhaps of the most.
Well,
they have an FAQ,
but it's like
I think
it's hotel questions and it's this, that, and the other. But I mean, you go into will call and it's overwhelming, and then you say, only because I'm a veteran of other cons, I say, is there a handicap line? And they say, oh, it's way over here and it's like, okay.
Yeah, not easily accessible.
And they did not say that we should get these blue.
Yeah, we found out from somebody else the special blue things, and we got here early. We got our badges and everything. That was fine, and then we didn't know about the blue things until later.
The blue things are special
and we had to go back and stand in line for like a little over an hour.
Yeah.
So a Gen Con survival scroll.
Gen Con survival.
Well, and that's something that we try and do for our pre-Gen Con episode, but that's definitely something that Gen Con itself can help facilitate.
So something else, just as kind of a teaser maybe for the next time we do a podcast, I'll try my best to make sure to get Kari on there with us as well. I know you have a list of tips and tricks for nannies at the con, if you're bringing babies or whatever, because I know Deb and I we wouldn't have survived, I think, sometimes having the baby without Kari around here, so I was very appreciative of that. What is the first thing or the top thing you could say as kind of a teaser for having you on next time? What should they do?
Bring somebody extra who's enough of a geek to enjoy their time there, but not one that wants to play like 6 million games.
Enough of an introvert to be like, deuces. I'm going to step away for one.
Right. That was kind of me. I like gaming. I like this stuff. I dressed up like a elf, did the Doctor Who cosplay, but my main goal and mission was to take care of the baby so the parents could play. So,
and it was just helpful to have her because I'm juggling things. I'm trying to get her in so that because I'm still nursing her. I got stuff. I'm trying to get in the bathroom. Saturday there's 6 million people and their brothers are all here, and so I'm fighting to get through traffic with a stroller. I mean, I'm like, oh, Lord help me, I'm going to die in the middle of Gen Con. And having somebody to be like, just somebody to help fight the traffic off. Or here, you need this. By the way, you're going to forget that. And, you have to get everything back together again. Let me hold the baby while you do that. So I'm not laying her on a cold cement floor. I mean, things like that, yeah. So having a friend, sister, mother, aunt, I don't know, next door neighbor, somebody. Maybe they just want to come and people watch. That would be good. Getting a people watcher might help, but...
Use that stroller to your advantage.
Yes.
Or don't use the stroller at all and use a little baby carrier backpack.
Use the stroller to get people out of your way.
Yeah.
There was that, because for us, when the baby was in the carrier, the stroller became the pack mule. And then when the baby was in the stroller, we were the pack mules.
Yeah.
So it was a nice trade-off and on. So, anyways, teaser for next time.
All right, so as you can tell, episode 105, we'll do a summer con review.
There you go.
Cool.
We'll talk about Indie Pop Con, Gen Con, a couple of the other cons that we've been to. Just kind of wrap it all up and put a nice pretty bow on it, put it in a package and send it out.
Okay.
So, last Gen Con, our established fact.
Wow.
Was the established fact is black guy approved.
Oh, yes.
We are black guy approved.
Yes, that happened.
That happened.
Okay.
That was a thing. This year, our established fact, since we're kind of tugging on heartstrings, is whether it's breakfast with the Hickmans or super cute toddler Thor, never forget to have your own GenCon experience. For episode 104, yes, is that right? Yeah, episode 104, sorry. For episode 104, this is the Established Facts. We love you guys, and we will see you later.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Please visit us at www.theestablishedfacts.com and our Facebook page, facebook.com/theestablishedfacts. If you would like to support us by buying some merchandise, visit cafepress.com/castingrobot.